How are you?
Hi, I'm Crystalline Marquez, and this speech is for COM 120, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 1:50. And this is my audience. This is my sister, her boyfriend, my mother, and my dad behind her. Say hi, Dad.
Hi.
This is my two nieces, and my other two nieces.
And Charlie.
Oh, and our dog, Charlie. Hi, my name is Crystal Marquez, and today I'm going to be discussing the mental disorder schizophrenia. Schizophrenia only affects about 1% of the American population, but is a really severe disorder. The main problem with schizophrenia is it's hard to diagnose in teenagers because many of the early symptoms are the same as normal teenage problems. I'm going to talk about the disorder itself and the symptoms you should be looking for. Also, I'm going to talk about the causes. This information is important because it's a really rare disorder. Not many people know about it. Also, if you can detect the early signs, it could help your own child or a kid in need. So let's go over the disorder itself. The disorder, people who have the disorder, they hear voices, or sometimes they tend to think people are plotting against them. Also, they're very socially withdrawn because a lot of the times they're in their own little world. A lot of the times when they talk, they don't make sense because everything they see is mostly delusions. The disorder is explained by Schizophrenia Disorder Clinic at Stanford School of Medicine as a disorder that interferes with the ability to think clearly, manage emotions, make decisions, and relate to others. There are four main symptoms of this disorder. The first is delusions, which are false beliefs or persecutions of guilt. They also may think that they have special powers or gifts. Another common symptom is hallucination, which is things you can see, hear, or feel that other people cannot. The most common in schizophrenia patients is hearing voices. They can also see people and objects that are not there. Another common hallucination is they feel fingers or bugs crawling on them. Another symptom is thought disorders, which means they have an unusual way or dysfunctional way of thinking. It can also be referred to as disorganized thoughts. Basically, it's really hard for them to connect logically. A lot of times when they talk, it may be mumbled and you may not be able to understand. Also, sometimes they think that people are messing with their thoughts, like they can stop mid-sentence and they think that people took the sentence out of their brain, but it's mostly just their delusions. The last main symptom is movement disorders. A lot of the times they have agitated movements, which means they repeat their movements over and over. Or in extreme cases, they can go into a state called cantation, which means they don't move or respond to anybody. But that was more common when there was no treatment for schizophrenia. Other symptoms include lack of motivation, poor expression of emotion, social withdrawal, and difficulty concentrating. There are two main causes for this disorder. So in a normal brain, our nerves release neurotransmitters, which are chemicals that send messages from one part of the brain to the other. But in a schizophrenia patient, the messages don't come through clearly. So the two main factors for this disorder, the first one is your environment and genes. For instance, if your parent has schizophrenia or your brother or sister, you're 10% more likely to inherit the disorder yourself. If your twin has schizophrenia, you are 40 to 65% more likely to inherit this disorder. The other cause is a brain chemical imbalance, which means you're born with the disorder. There's no cure for this disorder, only treatments. So in conclusion, I went over the definition of schizophrenia, which is the inability to think clearly or connect to the real world. The main symptoms are hallucinations, delusions, thought disorders, and movement disorders. I also went over the two main causes, which are genes and environment. The other one is brain chemical imbalance. I hope that through the speech you gain some valuable information on the disorder schizophrenia, and hopefully you can help out a child or friend in need. Thank you for listening.
Yay!